Hello, friends. I'm glad to see you again. And Limberger is glad to be here too, but he's thinking about the story about when Jesus and his friends were in the garden and all of the soldiers came and they came to arrest Jesus. Did Jesus run away? No. Did Jesus fight? No. Jesus waited for them. Well, now there's another part that comes in the Easter story. Like I said, there's lots of parts. In Limberger, we'll just get through this and you're going to see at the end that God's plan is wonderful. Now, here is the part. It's kind of tough. And the Roman soldiers are being very mean to Jesus, and they say, "So, you're a king, are you?" And they jeered at him and said, "Well, you're going to need a crown and a robe." And they gave Jesus a crown made of thorns and put a purple robe on him and pretended to bow down to him. "Your Majesty," they said. And then they whipped him. And they spat on him. And they did not understand that he was the Prince of Life, the King of heaven and earth, who had come to rescue them. The soldiers made him a sign, "Our King." And they nailed it to a wooden cross and they walked up a hill outside the city. And Jesus carried the cross on his back. Can you see that, Limberger? Limberger's very worried, I can tell. But there is a picture, and this happened. It's going to be okay, Limberger. Keep on hanging in there. But they were going to kill him the way criminals were killed. And yes, that is very sad. And it's very hard. Well, they nailed Jesus to the cross. "Father, forgive them," Jesus gasped. "They don't understand what they're doing." And here he is, praying for the very people who hurt him and are now trying to kill him. "You say you come to rescue us," people shouted, "but you can't even rescue yourself." But they were wrong. Jesus could have rescued himself. Thousands of angels could have flown to his side if he had called. "If you were really the Son of God, you could just climb down from that cross," they said. And of course they were right. Jesus could have climbed down. Actually, he could have just said a word and made it all stop. Like when he healed that little girl and stilled the storm and fed 5,000 people. You remember that? But Jesus stayed. You see, they didn't understand. It wasn't the nails that kept Jesus there. It was love. "Papa," Jesus cried. He frantically searched the sky. "Papa, where are you? Don't leave me." for the first time and the last, when he spoke, nothing happened. Just a horrible, endless silence. God didn't answer. He turned away from his boy. Tears rolled down Jesus' face, the face of the one who would wipe every tear from every eye. Well, even though it was midday, a terrible darkness covered the face of the world. The sun couldn't shine. The earth trembled and quaked, and the great mountains shook. Rocks split in two until it seemed that the whole world would break, that creation itself would tear apart. The full force of the storm of God's fierce anger at sin was coming down on his own Son instead of his people. It was the only way God could destroy sin and not destroy his children whose hearts were filled with sin. And then Jesus shouted in a loud voice, "It is finished." And it was. He had done it. Father, Jesus cried, I give you my life. And with a great sigh, he let himself die. Jesus had rescued the whole world. Strange clouds and shadows filled the sky. Purple, orange, black. Like a bruise. Jesus' friends gently carried Jesus. They laid him in a new tomb carved out of rock. How could Jesus die? What had gone wrong? What did it mean? They didn't know anything anymore, except they did know that their hearts were breaking. That's the end of Jesus, the leaders said. But just to be sure, they sent some strong soldiers. I'm going to try and give you this whole page here. He sent some strong soldiers to guard the tomb, and they rolled a big, heavy rock over the front of the door of the tomb so that no one could get in or out. Well, friends, is that the end of the Easter story? I think, Limberger, we're going to have to wait and find out. Sometimes you have to wait. Goodbye, friends. We love you very much, and we look forward to the next part of the Easter story. Be very brave, but we'll wait. Goodbye.